Philippa, it's a real joy and pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for the film. It is an absolute delight, and
Oh, thank
you are to be congratulated on it. How did you get involved with the project in the first place?
I made a series called Three Girls,
Yes.
which was about the Rochdale grooming inquiry. And after that, the people making who had got the rights to H is for Hawk were looking for a director. And so they approached me, and my dad had not long died before. And so
Oh,
when I read Helen's book and her memoir, and the Emma had done a first sort of treatment of the script, I just thought, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to do it because nobody's making anything about adult daughter and father relationship.
okay.
And I felt like I'm one of three girls, and we loved my dad, and it's really lovely to make something about a good man.
Hmm.
Well, it's very fashionable to have very dysfunctional things to show, but
Yeah.
actually to show a really close relationship between an adult daughter and a father is something very, very special.
Yeah, I have a 35-year-old daughter who lives in Jersey in the Channel Islands. So I don't see her very often, and I really appreciated that aspect of it. This is obviously a very personal project for you then.
It is. I think anybody. I found doing the Q&As that we've been doing and doing them with Helen and just listening to them speak, that how much people relate to the memoir and to the film, because we've all experienced loss. It's like
Yes.
anybody can relate to it, even though we all don't go off and train a goshawk. But we've all, most of us have lost someone, whether it's a partner or some family member, or even when people split up, that is another form of grief.
Hmm.
And so I think grief touches all of our lives, and it's a universal thing. So it seemed a really important film to make.
And is that what you want people to take away from this? The value of family relationships?
Yeah,
What would you
the
take away
the
from the film?
value of family relationships and of love,
Yeah.
actually, and hope. And at the end, we Helen and I really love that quote from Julian of Norwich,
Yes,
which
I thought
which
that was
has,
just the icing on the cake.
I know it, her friend Christina in real life at that point told her that quote or reminded her of it. And when Helen told me that in their kitchen, we just had a good cry. It just felt so moving, and I thought that's got to go in the end of the film. And
Yeah.
it's so important that the journey comes out at the end and gives us that feeling of hope and love.
Oh, absolutely. And it is such a life-affirming film. And as you say, there are very few easy to make a film about dysfunctional relationships. I was watching Lollipop last night, and that's a film about that. So I love this film. I imagine casting was key.
Casting was absolutely key, and we, especially for Helen,
Yes,
and I had worked with Claire Foy on The
on the
Crown.
crown. Yeah.
And Dee Dee Gardner had worked, who's our brilliant producer, had worked with or was working with Claire on Women Talking, which is another amazing film. And we both just thought when it came time to that we could cast, when the script was good enough to show somebody, um, we thought Claire was absolutely perfect. And luckily for us, she said yes. And she has a way of inhabiting a role in a very profound way, in a very deep way. And she's a very empathetic actor. She also has this beautiful stillness. She barely does anything, but it's all going on in her eyes.
Yes.
She's feeling everything. And I think she helps the audience really connect with the story and with her character.
Yeah, I mean, I have a confession. I only saw the film on my laptop, so I got sent a screener.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing it on the big screen later this week
Oh, brilliant.
because I loved it so much. Claire, how did Claire get on with the hawk? Are there any
She turned
stories you
out
can
to
tell us,
be,
or how did that go?
lucky for us, Andy, she turned out to be an absolutely natural falconer.
Really?
She had 2 weeks falconry training with our brilliant hawk expert Lloyd Buck and his wife Rose. And she went and she had to wear her Helen costume, so that the hawk would be used to her in those
Okay.
clothes. real Helen, lent us their hawking waistcoat, the real one that they'd used with
Wow.
Mabel. So it was really brilliant. And though every day for like 6 hours a day, she would do hawk falconry training with Lloyd. And so when we came to film, we were pretty confident. Claire's a very coordinated, physically coordinated person, and a very, again, really, really intuitive person and watchful. And the way she reacts with the hawk is brilliant. And the scene where she first unhoods Mabel, we
Yes.
filmed in real time. We felt that we had a rule that whatever would happen, we would film it. And Charlotta Bruce Christensen, our fantastic DOP, we all had to hide. In the crew had to hide upstairs when we were filming anything to do with the hawk. We had to have a sort of closed set, really.
Yeah.
And Charlotta had to hide her blonde hair in her black cap and put black clothes on, and I had to hide behind a piece of furniture and with Lloyd. And we just wanted those scenes to be as naturalistic as we possibly could, which means making those conditions completely right for the hawk and also for Claire. And her improvisation with the hawk, which is what she's doing. She's performing and improvising with the hawk. Is like, how can anybody do that? I mean, I don't know how she did it, but it was magnetic.
It's a remarkable performance.
It's remarkable.
It really is.
You're sort of on the edge of your seat watching it happen live.
Yes. I was expecting the hawk just to fly off and start being awkward. And
I know.
No, I'm not going to cut when you want me to cut, and I'm not going to act when you want me to act.
I know.
How did you relate? How did you get on with that side of the filming?
We had to start planning it very early. So I got to know Lloyd Buck, who was going to be our hawk expert, a few years before we started actually filming. Of course, COVID got in the way, so we had to put our filming off a little bit. But we tested. He taught two of his hawks to fly with drones next to them, so that's how we got those incredible hunting shots.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah. And I wanted it to feel very visceral and very real, the hunting.
Yeah.
And so we used brilliant natural history cameraman to capture some of those shots, and a drone team who are used to working with Lloyd. And we had it as a very tiny unit called a hawk unit, and we went off just with a few of us to film those shots, because you can't really do those with a big film crew hanging around you.
No.
And we wanted them to feel, again, like you were flying with the hawk, that you weren't just observing, but we were with Mabel doing her hunting.
Yes.
To make
I understand it was shot in Wales. We
shot it in Cambridge.
Yes.
All those scenes, and then in Wales, where we had some money from the Welsh government towards our film, so that's why we ended up shooting some of it in Wales. But the countryside in Wales is incredible, and some in Somerset. We did near where the hawks live, and the flat levels of Somerset are like the fenland of Cambridgeshire. So that's the reason we were there, is because that's where the hawks live. Lloyd and Rose practiced a lot of the maneuvers and stuff with the hawks, so we had to come to them to do those scenes.
I'm actually a Somerset boy. I grew up in Weston-super-Mare, and I'm preaching at a church on the Somerset Levels a week on Sunday.
Oh, are you?
So I can look out for the hawks when I'm driving around. Yeah, that would be
they live not far from Clevedon, that area. You know where?
I know very well, exceptionally well. Yeah, exceptionally well. Brendan Fraser was obviously a great addition to the cast as well.
Brendan Gleeson.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
There's two Brendans,
Yes, Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson.
Tell me about him.
Oh, what an amazing man. He was he was really interested in playing the role of a good dad, because he's a dad of 4 boys, and he was just so interested in what that meant and how to encapsulate that. And he encapsulated the sort of the spirit of Helen's dad. He's quite cheeky, he's subversive, he's full of mischief, and he and Helen were real partners in crime in real life. And I think Brendan and Claire really capture that feeling of they're both obsessed with nature, and
that scene where he's in the library in Cambridge, and he's talking about the fact that his daughter's going to be the first member of the family to go to university. So there's actually a real degree of humour in that scene, where everybody else is asking him to be quiet.
Yes,
He doesn't seem to
exactly.
appreciate where he is.
Exactly, exactly. But he's so proud of it. He's like bursting with pride, and it bursts out in
Yeah.
a
Did
noisy
the
way.
Cambridge authorities no problem? Was that filmed in a library in Cambridge? Was that?
That was filmed in Wales, that
Oh, was
library.
it? Okay.
Yeah, because
Giving away all the secrets.
when we were filming in Cambridge, it was term time, and so we couldn't go inside where the students were. So we filmed those scenes in Jesus College, Cambridge, where Helen goes to practice flying Mabel.
Sure.
That's filmed in Jesus, where Helen was
Yes.
in her college life.
Often when I confess I haven't read the book. So often when you're watching a film and you're seeing based on a book or inspired by a book, you are questioning, and I'm not questioning you, but I'm asking, how realistic is it to the book? How faithful
Oh,
did you want to keep to the book
oh
without
yes,
adding anything on extra for dramatic purposes?
no, it's very faithful to the book. Um, it follows exactly the journey that Helen
Yeah.
made. Obviously, in a 2-hour film, you can't put everything in,
No, of
and
course
there
not.
are many more scenes in the book, but the trajectory and the main heart of it is completely faithful to the book.
That's great. Oh, that's lovely. So I really did enjoy. I was wondering. I was trying to think of films that have featured hawks in the past, and obviously Ken Loach's Kes springs to mind. Did
Yeah.
you have a look at that at all? Were you take any inspiration from that, or did you think, no, we're not going to go down that road because we don't want to be seen to be copying what Ken
Well,
Loach did?
um, Kes is a beautiful film, and
Yes,
Kes is a film which inspired me to want to be a director.
that's really
But
interesting, isn't it?
but
Now that you've made H's for
it
Hawk, yeah,
is, but it's so different from H is for Hawk, and the story itself is so different from H is for Hawk. It's a northern story. It's about a boy, and it's a kestrel, and they fly in a different way. There's nothing. There was nothing we could take from Kes.
right.
It's a different kind of film. And hawks fly, goshawks fly really close to the ground. Kestrels fly up in the sky.
All right.
Um,
You've learned a lot, obviously.
I've learned a lot. But also the funny thing is, Ken Loach is my father-in-law.
No,
So
really? I
that's quite
didn't know
funny.
that.
No, well, I don't tell anybody. I don't really tell many people, but it's
We
quite
have now.
funny that he made that brilliant film, and you know, a million years later, his daughter-in-law's made a film about a woman with a bird. But
Right.
they're so different. You can't. They don't really relate to each
And of
other.
course, back in his day, they wouldn't have had the drones that enabled them to get those amazing shots that you
No,
got.
no. It's also it's a completely different story. So it's
Yeah.
not really relevant to
Okay.
Ages for Hawk, I
Sure.
think.
Tell me a little bit about the music because I thought the music was sensitive. I thought the spotting on the music was of the music through the film was really lovely.
Oh,
Just tell me
good.
a little bit about the music and what you wanted from the music and how it matched to what you finally got.
We worked with Emily, brilliant composer called Emily Leveniers Farouche,
Yeah.
who's a fantastic composer, and we worked really hard to find that tone of earthy strings and but quite tense sometimes, because training a hawk is difficult, and we didn't want the music to feel sweet or too saccharine because it's actually some of the story is quite tough, and it's tough and earthy going out with a hawk. So we wanted to find that sort of earthy tone which the strings give,
Sure.
but also have an uplifting kind of feeling of lyricism as well in places. But I also absolutely love Emily's score and the emotion that she captures
Mm.
in there
Yeah.
with no sentimentality. I think is brilliant. We didn't want the film to feel sentimental at all. We just wanted to feel quite honest.
And yet it's so moving. I mean, I was in tears at the end.
Oh, it's very moving. I think being moving is different from being sentimental, isn't it?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think being sentimental can be quite sugary, but this
Yeah.
feels sort of
It was
genuinely
real.
moving. It feels real, and it feels like you can relate to it. And I love the fact that our audiences are moved at the end. And when I was editing it, me and the assistant editor would not the editor, he was much better than us, but we were always in tears and sobbing, and we'd even seen it as like a million times. It still made us cry.
It's received a great reception where it's been shown. You must have been thrilled with the reception it's received.
We're absolutely delighted, and we're absolutely thrilled that it's got on the long list for the BAFTA Best British Film. Outstanding
Rightly
British
so.
Yeah, we're really, really pleased because it's only a little film. It's just a low budget British film.
Yes.
And we made it with incredible producers at Plan B, Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Kadi Vanna Skirikul, who's helped piece the finance together. I found them amazing supports, and just they've done so many brilliant films. I was just so honoured to work with them on this. It's fantastic.
And I was thinking too, you've obviously done TV with The Crown and the other series, and now you also do film. Do you have a medium that you prefer?
Not
or are they
really.
fairly similar in the way that you work?
I think I don't prefer either of them. I think each are great for telling particular stories, but I think I've been very lucky in television to make very authored pieces of work. I made a series that went out just before Christmas called Prisoner 951.
Yes.
About Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe and Richard Ratcliffe, and that that again is a real story about real people going through a horrific time. It's different from The Hawk, but it's about real. I love telling stories that are real and about real people.
What's next, Philippa? What's on your agenda? What do you expect from you next after this lovely film?
I'm doing a bit of writing next because the Prisoner series I finished it in December and it went out straight away. So yes. I'm pretty exhausted. I'm just enjoying very much doing all the chats for H is for Hawk and helping it give flight, helping it take flight on Friday.
Sure. And you're getting lots of press coverage and lots of interviews and lots of Q&As.
Yes, we are. Which is fun.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I run a group called the Mark Commode Appreciation Society, and I know Mark loved the film, and I did as well.
Oh, so thank you so much, Andy.